You're standing in a cave. It's pitch black, except for one small fire. Outside, something roars in the dark, and you have no idea what it is or why it's there. That fear, that's where this whole story starts. For almost all of human history, you had no science, no weather forecasts, no doctors, no explanations for thunder, disease, or death. Just questions with no answers. And your brain, the same brain sitting in your skull right now, hated that. It still does. Give your brain a mystery, and it will invent an explanation rather than sit with the unknown. That single trait may be the real seed of religion. Around 300,000 years ago, early humans started burying their dead with care, not just tossing bodies aside, placing them gently, adding flowers, tools, even red pigment on the skin. Scientists studying these graves believe this wasn't random. It suggests something bigger was going on in the human mind, a growing awareness that life ends, and a need to make sense of that ending. Death is uniquely terrifying for a species that can imagine the future. A zebra doesn't lie awake wondering what happens after it dies. You do. Your ancestors did too. And once a brain becomes advanced enough to picture its own end, it desperately searches for a way out of that fear. Religion may have been one of the earliest tools humans built to survive that fear, not with weapons or fire, but with belief. Now picture this. Deep inside your brain sits a stubborn little manager. Let's call him the pattern boss. He wears a hard hat, sits behind a control panel, and his entire job is finding patterns in chaos, even when there isn't one. Lightning strikes a tree, the pattern boss slams a big red button. Someone did that on purpose. A friend gets sick and no one knows why? Pattern boss again. Something out there is angry. He can't stand randomness. He'd rather invent an invisible cause than accept there isn't one. Multiply that instinct across millions of confused humans trying to survive a dangerous world, and you get gods, spirits, and ancestors watching from above, all built by the same overeager brain wiring that still makes you see a face in a cloud today. This tendency has a real name in research: agency detection. Your brain is built to assume something intentional is behind unexplained events, because in the wild, that instinct kept you alive. Hearing a rustle in the grass and assuming predator, even if it's just wind, costs you nothing if you're wrong. But assuming just wind when it's actually a predator could cost you your life. So evolution favored brains that jump to someone or something did this, even without proof. That same wiring, aimed at the sky, at storms, at death, easily turns into belief in unseen beings controlling the world. But religion wasn't only about fear. It also solved a very practical human problem: trust between strangers. For most of history, you only had to trust people you knew personally, your family, your small tribal group. But as human groups grew larger, you started living beside strangers you'd never meet face to face. How do you convince a stranger not to steal from you, lie to you, or betray you? One powerful answer: tell them an invisible, all-seeing being is always watching and will punish wrongdoing even when no human catches it. Researchers studying early large societies have proposed that shared belief in watchful, morally invested gods help total strangers cooperate, trade, and build cities together because everyone believed someone was keeping score, even in private. This is still a debated theory, not a settled fact, but it's a compelling piece of the puzzle. Religion also gave people something else evolution rewards heavily: belonging. Group rituals, chanting, dancing, singing, fasting together, release the same brain chemicals involved in bonding and trust. Groups that prayed together, celebrated together, and mourned together developed tighter social bonds, and tighter groups had a major survival edge. More cooperation, more shared food, more protection, more successful reproduction. In a very real sense, the tribes that believed together may have simply outlived the tribes that didn't. Think about your own life for a second. Even now, in the modern world with hospitals, satellites, and instant answers to almost anything, you still crave meaning when something painful happens. A diagnosis, a loss, a disaster with no clear cause. Somewhere inside you, the pattern boss is still working overtime, searching for a reason, a purpose, someone or something behind the event. That urge hasn't disappeared just because you have better tools now. It's baked into how your brain processes uncertainty. So was religion invented by one clever person one day? Almost certainly not. It looks far more like something that emerged slowly, shaped by many overlapping pressures. A brain wired to fear death, a mind desperate to find causes behind chaos, a growing need to trust strangers in bigger societies, and the powerful pull of shared ritual holding groups together. None of these explanations fully prove why religion exists. They're the leading scientific hypotheses, pieced together from graves, brain studies, and patterns across cultures worldwide. Here's the reframe. That fire flickering in the cave thousands of years ago, and the questions racing through your mind on your hardest days, they're not as far apart as you think. Different century, same brain, same hunger for meaning in an uncertain world.